They don't turn right away. That's the part nobody talks about. They scream, they bleed, they cry for help, and for a while, they still look human. That's how it gets you. It's not the claws. It's not the full moon. It's not even the teeth. It's the delay, the time between infection and eruption, between "please help me" and "why are you locking the door?" I've seen it more times than I care to count. Good people, friends, family, bitten, bandaged, and barricaded with the rest of us. They swear they feel fine, that they're not changing, and then night falls, and something starts tearing through the walls like a freight train made of meat and rage, and you realize you slept beside a monster. The outbreak didn't start with a bang. It started with a lie. First it was hikers going missing. Then an entire rural town vanished overnight. The news said wolves, some said terrorists. A few whispered old gods waking up. But me? I was there the night Fort Mason fell. I saw soldiers get torn apart by something they couldn't even shoot. They're faster than you think, smarter than you think. They travel in packs now. They leave no survivors. They're not scared of walls, guns, or prayers. And if you're hearing this, it means you're still breathing, which means you still have a chance. I've been living by a set of rules, 10 of them, carved into my memory like scars, because each one was paid for in blood. Follow them, and you might last long enough to see the next moon. Break even one, and they'll be wearing your skin before sunrise. Let's start with the most important one. The one that cost me the most. Don't trust the bitten. Tip 1. Don't trust the bitten. I don't care if it's your brother, your wife, your kid. If they've been bitten, they're not one of you anymore. Not really. They might talk the same, cry the same, look you in the eyes and promise they feel fine. And maybe, for a while, they are fine. That's the worst part. The change doesn't always come right away. Sometimes it takes hours. Sometimes it takes days. I saw one guy hold it together for a full week. Stayed lucid, joked around, helped us haul supplies, even made me believe maybe we'd found an immune one. But then the full moon hit, and we woke up to find he'd chewed through the fuel lines and stacked our weapons in the campfire. Then he started laughing. Then he started changing. We lost 7 people in under 2 minutes. He didn't even howl, just smiled, wide and bloody, and started pulling people apart like he was born to do it. We thought we could save him. We thought we could wait it out. We were wrong. And listen, don't fall for the half-moon theory either. That's internet garbage. The transformation doesn't need the moon. It needs time. The virus, or whatever this is, learns your body before it takes it. And once it decides it's ready, you're done. No silver bullet's gonna fix that. You want to know how you tell the bitten from the clean? They always act cold. They'll say it's nothing, just a fever. They'll start to twitch in their sleep, mutter. Sometimes they'll hum to themselves, low, guttural, like an animal trying to remember how to sing. One night, I watched a kid, 16 tops, scrape his fingernails bloody against a brick wall for hours, while his friend slept beside him. When I confronted him, he smiled at me and said, itches under the skin. That was all I needed to hear. So don't hesitate. Don't wait for a second opinion. Don't see what happens. If they're bitten, they're gone. And if you can't kill them, if your hands shake, if your voice breaks, you leave, you run. Because if you don't, you're next. Tip 2. Avoid the roads. They're hurting us. You think the back roads are safer. That sticking to asphalt, street signs, old travel routes will somehow lead you out of this nightmare. That's what they want. They've learned how we move, how we think, how we follow the lines. I've seen the patterns. Buses flipped across intersections like barricades, broken down cars, spaced perfectly apart, enough to funnel you into tighter and tighter lanes, flares left burning on bridges that don't exist on any map. It's not random, it's a drive line, and if you follow it long enough, you'll end up somewhere quiet, dark, and surrounded. We used to think we were the hunters. Now I've watched packs use debris and abandoned trucks like sheepdogs. I've seen them circle in, forcing survivors off the road into kill zones. Warehouses, culverts, burned out rest stops with one way in, no way out. The worst one was a convoy, 6 vehicles, 20 survivors. They were following a GPS that kept rerouting around blocked bridges, took them deeper into the woods. Each time they stopped, someone went missing. When they finally radioed out, all we got was, "They're not chasing us, they're guiding us." We found the lead vehicle 3 days later. Doors open, blood soaked through the seats. No bodies, just claw marks on the inside of the windshield, like something had been trying to get out. That was when I stopped using roads. Now I cut through ruins, dried riverbeds, forest trails, rooftops, anything unnatural, erratic. The wolves track patterns. They expect paths. You want to survive? You move like an animal. No straight lines, no routes. You make noise where they don't expect it. You vanish when they close in. Because if you stick to the roads, you're not escaping. You're being delivered. Tip 3. Never stay in one place more than 3 nights. You might think you found a safe spot. 4 walls, a roof, no bite marks on the door. You lock it up, maybe even get a fire going. You tell yourself, just a few days, just to rest. Don't. 3 nights is the limit. Never more. They track scent, sweat, skin, blood, but more than that, they track silence. The longer you sit still, the more the air settles, the more the noise of your survival, your breathing, your movement, your fear, replaces the silence they left behind. And when they hear that, they know something's alive. They know something's waiting. I used to think I'd found a place. It was an old ski lodge, remote, 2 stories, steel doors, working plumbing, even a stash of old canned goods in the cellar. We called it the fort. We thought we could ride out the winter there. The first night, nothing. Second night, we heard howling in the distance, but that didn't scare us. It was the third night that did. No howling, no wind, just this heavy silence. like the world was holding its breath. At 3:41 a.m., the cellar door creaked open. We had it bolted, chained. We had a generator powering locks. Didn't matter. What came out of that cellar wasn't human anymore. It had his eyes, it had his jacket. It wasn't him. We never figured out how it got in. Maybe he was bitten before we found him. Maybe it dug up through the floor. Maybe it had always been there, waiting. Only 3 of us made it out. And even then, I didn't walk away. I crawled. Since then, I never stay longer than 3 nights. Doesn't matter how safe it looks. Doesn't matter how tired I am. After the 3rd sundown, I'm gone. Because staying in one place too long doesn't protect you. It marks you. They don't knock. They don't break down doors. They just wait. Wait for the right hour. Wait for the moon to rise. Wait for you to start thinking you're safe. And then they come in quiet. Tip 4. Silver won't save you. It burns them. That much is true. But don't let silver lull you into thinking it's anything more than a delay. The stories, the movies, the books, they all make silver sound like some holy metal. Like if you got a silver bullet in your pocket, you're untouchable. Like it'll burn through bone and evil at the same time. Here's what it actually does. It pisses them off. The first time I used silver, it was a handmade knife. Blacksmith in a survivor camp swore by it, said it was purified, ritual forged even. I carried it like it was scripture, kept it wrapped in cloth, slept with it by my chest like it could whisper safety into my dreams. And then came the 4th night. Something broke through the fencing, big, fast, snarling like it was part machine. I drew the blade, slashed hard across its throat, and it screamed. I mean, really screamed, like the silver had lit fire inside its skin. But it didn't stop. It tackled me. Claws dug into my ribs. The knife didn't matter anymore. It burned, sure. I smelled the burn, but it just kept tearing, bleeding, thrashing. It took 3 of us to put it down, and 2 of those people didn't live long enough to know we'd won. That was the last time I believed in silver. I've seen people rely on it like gospel. One guy wore a silver chain around his neck and thought it made him immune. Another had silver buckshot. Worked. Until he missed. Know what all of them had in common? They're dead. Here's what silver really is. It's pain. To them, it's fire. It's acid. But it's not death. You stab them with steel, they bleed. You stab them with silver, they scream. But if you don't hit the right spot, they don't fall, and you don't get a second chance when they're on top of you. So yeah, carry silver, sharpen it, keep it clean, but don't count on it. Because silver is a tool, not a savior. And the second you think it'll save you, it won't. Tip 5. Muzzle flashes attract them. You think gunfire makes you safe. That loud bang, that burst of fire from the barrel, the false confidence that if you shoot first, you'll be the one who walks away. But out here, in this world, sound is a death sentence. They see light like it's music. They track vibration like it's blood. And muzzle flash, that's a lighthouse screaming, dinner's here. First time I learned that was in a gas station outside Stillwater. 5 of us holed up, windows boarded, 2 exits covered. We thought we were smart, armed to the teeth, full mags, military surplus rifles. And then came the scratching. Just one, we thought. A silhouette in the parking lot. It moved weird, fast, then still. Back arched like something caught mid-transformation. We had a shot, clean center mass, so we took it. Flash, bang, echo through the night like thunder. The thing dropped, but we didn't see the others. 4 of them crawling out from the tree line, silent, patient, waiting for the first shot, because that's what it was to them. A signal, a flare, an invitation. They hit the windows like a tidal wave. I made it out through the freezer door. I ran 6 miles barefoot, still have glass in my heel. The others? By the time I circled back at dawn, all that was left were spent shells and skin, piles of clothes, torn boots, blood soaked into gravel like rainwater. No bodies. They clean their kills now. They move like they've adapted. And muzzle flash? It's how they find what's left of us. I've seen wolves stop mid-sprint when a flare went off, seen them tilt their heads toward light like they're studying it. You want to survive? Think silent, think savage. Knives, bows, wire traps. Even a rock in the dark is safer than a bullet in the open, because they don't fear your firepower. They follow it. And if you're reloading when they come through the smoke, all that noise you made, that was your eulogy. Tip 6, they hunt in human skin too. They don't always look like monsters. I need you to understand that before we go any further. They don't all have fangs dripping in blood or yellow eyes that glow in the dark. Sometimes they walk upright, speak clearly, bleed when they're cut. They can smile, laugh, cry, and they don't always change under the moon. I've met ones who never transformed at all, not fully, just shifted. Slivers of them peeling through like a mask that almost slips. You ever see someone blink and miss their pupils flick to vertical? Hear a growl under their breath when they think no one's listening? Watch someone sniff the air and smile like they just caught the scent of dinner? I have. His name was Dylan. Said he was a trucker, stranded after the collapse, wore a flannel jacket, boots 3 sizes too big, and a grin like he was just happy to see people again. Said he'd been on the road for 2 weeks, offered us fuel, food, a spare tire. He was charming, too charming. The others didn't notice, not until it was too late. He'd whistle at night, low and tuneless. I asked him about it once, and he said, "Helps me keep from changing." We didn't know what that meant at the time. Then people started getting sick. Our meat stores vanished. One girl, Amber, said she saw someone burying bones outside the church ruins. We checked the hole the next morning. Inside were 7 sets of teeth. Just the teeth. Dylan was gone by then. So was Amber. All he left behind was his flannel and a trail that led into the woods. The dirt was torn up, deep, like something massive had walked on all 4s. with human feet. Don't assume you'll see them coming. Some of them don't need to shift. Some of them have learned that the best disguise isn't a mask. It's you, your mannerisms, your speech, your face. If someone joins your group and never sleeps, never eats, never blinks when the firelight hits their eyes, they're not passing through, they're studying. And when they stop studying, they feed. Tip 7. Barricades are coffins. People think survival means staying put. Find 4 walls, block the doors, push a dresser in front of the window and wait it out. Like this is a storm you can outlast. Like the wolves are just going to lose interest and move on to someone dumber, someone slower. They won't. Barricades don't keep you alive. They just keep you still. And that's what they're waiting for. I've walked through more survivor camps than I can count. Some were tiny, makeshift tool sheds or sealed shipping containers. Others were massive, military bunkers, abandoned schools, whole apartment buildings turned into fortresses. You know what they all had in common? Everyone inside was dead. One place, I remember it too well, was a supermarket. They'd done everything right. Reinforced the entrances, blocked the skylights, even set up a watch rotation. It looked like it could have lasted months. I found it on day 41. No signs of struggle. No broken locks, just blood everywhere. Pools of it, trails leading into the stockroom. I found the last survivor in the walk-in freezer, locked inside from the outside. He'd scratched something into the wall with a coat hanger. Took me a while to read it, but once I did, I never forgot. We let one in. Thought he was clean. He wasn't. By the time we heard the screaming, the exits were already blocked. We barricaded ourselves in and made it easier for them. That's what it is. You're not building safety. You're building a trap. All it takes is one mistake, one bitten, one sleeper, one who's hunting in human skin. And once the doors are sealed, once the exits are blocked, you're not in a stronghold. You're in a cage. And the wolves, they don't have to come crashing through. They just wait. They wait for you to get tired, to let your guard down, to start whispering plans, rationing food, turning on each other. Barricades are for people who think they still live in a world with rules, with rescue, with time. You don't need time. You need distance. So don't dig in. Don't build a wall and pretend it's a future. Keep moving. Stay scattered. Sleep light. And if someone starts hammering wood over the windows, leave now, because what they're building isn't shelter. It's a coffin. Tip 8. Don't howl back. You'll hear them eventually. Not just the screams, not just the snarling, but the howls. They're long, mournful things, ancient, echoes that crawl under your skin and make your hair stand on end. Sometimes they sound like grief, sometimes they sound like war, but no matter what they sound like, don't answer, not ever. I know how tempting it is. You're alone, cold. Maybe you've been without a voice for days. Maybe part of you just wants to make a sound, any sound, just to know you're still alive. So you throw your head back and let out your best horror movie howl just to feel something. I did that once. It was early, the first week after the fall. I was holed up in the hills, surrounded by mist and ash. I hadn't seen another living soul in 5 days. I felt invisible, forgotten. And when I heard that first distant howl, I thought, why not? So I howled back, loud, clear. I even laughed after, felt like a kid again, felt connected. Less than 2 minutes later, I heard a reply, closer, shorter, sharpened. Then another, then 3 more. They weren't howling to call each other. They were triangulating. They knew where I was, how far, how many of them would be needed. I packed my gear in 30 seconds and ran. Didn't stop until morning. Didn't sleep for 2 nights. I got lucky, but I never forgot what that second howl sounded like. It wasn't a response. It was acknowledgement. An alpha saying, I hear you. And if they hear you once, they never forget the sound of your voice. I've heard rumors, don't know if they're true, that some people howl too many times and they stop coming back. Not dead, just gone. Disappeared into the woods like they finally found the right frequency, the right tone, and something came to claim them. Don't make noise you don't understand. Don't mimic things older than language. And if the night calls to you with something wild and beautiful and terrible in its throat, let it pass, because when you howl back, you're not talking. You're answering. Tip 9. Trust no one out after moonrise. I don't care who they are. I don't care how they sound. I don't care if they're crying, limping, waving a white flag, holding a baby, or whispering your name. If someone's walking toward you after moonrise, you do not trust them. Not ever. Because after the sun dips below the tree line, everything changes. It's not just about the transformation. It's about the hunger, the instinct, the shift in their eyes you almost don't catch until it's too late. I used to wait at the edge of a campfire watching the tree line, always ready to help the next lost soul wandering out of the dark. I left signs, chalk arrows, breadcrumb trails, even blinking lights so survivors could find their way to us. One night, a man came hobbling down the road, torn jeans, no shoes, arms up, said his name was Marcus, said he hadn't eaten in days. We let him in, fed him, patched his leg, let him sleep beside the fire. He was quiet, friendly, said all the right things, until sometime past midnight. I woke up to the sound of ripping, not growling, not screaming, just tearing. When I sat up, Marcus was crouched over Ellie's body. She was one of ours, the youngest. He wasn't even fully changed, just half of his mouth stretched open farther than a jaw should go. His spine was cracking one vertebra at a time, like something inside him was uncoiling. Slowly, he looked up at me, and he smiled. No rage, no malice, just hunger, like he'd been waiting for permission. It wasn't the moon that made him turn. It was the fact that he was already turned and just waiting for the right time. You want to survive out here? Make peace with the silence. Because if someone's out wandering after dark, they're either infected, bait, or worse. They're hunting, so keep your circle tight, sleep in shifts, and if someone knocks after sunset, don't open the door, because no matter what they say, no matter who they say they are, if they're still out there after moonrise, they've already made their choice. Tip 10. If you hear the whistle, it's already too late. The others howl, but not them, not the old ones, not the first ones, not the ones that don't need to scream to remind you they're coming. They whistle. It's faint, just a note, a single drawn-out sound that curls around buildings, slips through keyholes, wraps itself behind your ears like a memory you didn't make. Some say it's a call. Others say it's a lullaby. I know better. It's a countdown. I heard it once. Back before everything went completely to hell, I ran with a group outside of what used to be Raleigh. We called ourselves the Drain Rats, slept in storm tunnels, kept off the roads, lived quiet. We were good, careful, no fires, no music, no talking after dusk. Then one night we heard it, a whistle, one long note, not a tune, not a signal, just breath, directed. We thought it was human, someone hurt, lost, trying to signal they were nearby. We were wrong. Within 60 seconds, the dogs stopped barking. Within 2 minutes, our night watch was gone. No scream, just blood trailing off into the weeds. 5 minutes in, and they were everywhere, silent, moving on all fours, bare feet slapping wet stone, jaws twitching like they were trying not to bite yet. They were waiting. The whistle didn't summon them. It released them. By morning, only 2 of us were left. I never saw the one that whistled, but I know it was watching. I could feel it in the dark, like a weight pressing on my lungs. I've heard it 3 times since, each time closer, each time fewer people survived. So if you're out there and you hear it, a soft whistle in the woods, on the wind, echoing through metal, don't run, don't scream, don't hide. None of that will save you, because by the time that sound reaches your ears, you've already been found. That's all I've got. 10 tips, 10 lines between survival and savagery. You follow them, you might just make it another night. You break them, you'll end up another story someone like me tells into a broken recorder. I don't know how long I've been out here. Days blur, nights crawl. The moon keeps coming back like it forgot something, and I keep moving, one step ahead, one breath at a time. I've seen cities reduced to bone piles, camps that looked like utopias rotting from the inside. I've seen werewolves wearing dog tags, wedding rings, even rosaries. Doesn't matter who you were before. When it takes you, it takes everything. No soul, no guilt, just instinct wrapped in meat and teeth. So if you're still human, still yourself, hold on to that, because it's slipping faster than you think. I don't sleep more than an hour at a time now. I see things moving when I blink. Sometimes I hear howling even when the sky is clear and the air is dead still. And tonight it's quiet. Too quiet. No crickets, no wind, no echo. And there's this weight in my chest, like the air's gone heavy, like the woods are holding their breath again, like something's listening. So if I don't make it, if this is the last thing I get to share, burn this into your bones. Don't trust the bitten. Don't stay still. Don't answer the howl. And if you hear the whistle, don't run. Just close your eyes. Because it's already behind you. If you're still breathing, go ahead and like the video. Subscribe if you dare. There are plenty more nightmares waiting for you. And whatever you do, don't forget to ring the bell. It's the only way you'll hear the warnings in time.